welcome to Top Hat and Veils YouTube Wedding Consultant blog. This morning I'm joined by Aaron Waite basically Aaron is here on behalf of photographers within the wedding industry, and his business is Photography by Aaron Waite. Good morning, Aaron.
Morning, Sarah.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good, good. Oh, not too bad. Welcome to the beach.
Thank you.
And yes, so basically we're going to just go over a few things to do with hints and tips and guides for brides and grooms when it comes to what to do with a photographer. And obviously the very first question I'd like to ask Aaron is, what would you say the younger generation is bringing to the photography industry?
Well, firstly, thank you for classing me in that.
You're younger than me, so we can go with that.
Well, I think it's a fresh pair of eyes.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people will look at someone younger and think they haven't got necessarily much experience, which, you know, that's a fair point to make. But I think it's just, people can fall into a habit and get stuck in the rut, and that's what they do, and they're really good at it, and that's fine. But it's always the same.
Yeah.
So there are hundreds of photographers to choose from. And what I always bear in mind when talking to anyone is that everyone's different.
Yeah.
You can't go to two photographers and get the same thing. It's just not possible.
Do you see that when you're at wedding fairs? So you do you find yourself being the youngest person when you go to wedding fairs now?
Yeah.
And do you sort of get that atmosphere from the older, more established businesses when you walk in?
The wedding fairs that I've been to, there's usually only one or two photographers, and I'll always strike up a conversation with them. And it's weird. I get differing approaches. Some people will talk to me as an equal. Some people will talk down to me. Whether that's because I'm younger or because I'm new, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think that I don't see it as a competition. I see it as, right, here's a wedding photographer, this is their work. Here's a wedding photographer, this is their work. Here am I, I'm a wedding photographer, this is my work. What do you think? And so I don't think it's necessarily a fair judgment to make when people come in and say, oh, he's young, I'm not going to go and see him. You know, it's understandable, it's human nature, that's how people work. But, as I say, for me it's a fresh pair of eyes. So I will see a photo that no one else will see.
Yeah.
Another photographer will see a photo that no one else will see. And that's what you've got to look out for. So, yeah, I think in terms of the younger generation, it's purely that we're not very well known.
But then do you think that's also when you're at a wedding fair or you get the inquiries through your site and everything, are you finding that you are bringing in younger people, or are you sort of right across the board with the age gaps for that?
It's odd. Certainly at fairs you get a good broad range. Tends to be when I'm dealing with inquiries through the site and through the Facebook is again tends to be younger generation. I don't want to say that no one older is using social media, because that's complete rubbish. My grandma uses it and she's fun. But generally, in terms of people looking for wedding photographers, there's two trains of thought. So there's one which is the very traditional way of going to meet people and having a look at their work, physical prints and things like that, and having a look and talking to them through. And the other way, which is more prevalent these days, is it sounds really horrible, but quote farming, where people will just go and machine gun, right, let's search wedding photographers, for example, get loads of quotes. Yeah. Right, we're not looking at the photos, we're not looking at the person, we're not going to meet them, we're just going to look at the price. Yeah.
Absolutely, it's right across the board, I think, for that as well.
And again, it's a sign of the times. The financial industry being the way it is, you know, pockets and wallets have been tightened. People are looking for a deal, which is absolutely fine. But you've got to consider the other side of it as well.
Because that's one of the questions I was wanting to ask you is, what sort of hints and tips do you have for couples when they're looking for a photographer? What sort of thing would you advise them to do?
Well, I would say, and I'm slightly biased there.
Why not?
Always go and meet your photographer.
Yeah.
Always. You cannot judge someone through text, and that's standard in general. Yeah. You cannot judge someone personality-wise through reading how they talk. It's not possible. No. You haven't got the same inflections. You haven't got the same winning smile. You know. You can't judge someone if you're just talking to them over the emails or Facebook messages or whatever. So it's very cold and impersonal. So I always say to people, when we're looking at talking about wedding photography and what I can do for them, I will say, right, let's sit down, go and have a coffee, have a bite to eat or whatever, and we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay? We'll be face to face, because you might meet me and we don't get on.
Have you heard of instances where people have not bothered to make an effort to meet the photographer and it's gone hideously wrong on the day, really?
I'm sad to say that I have.
Yeah.
There are definitely some horror stories. Your wedding is about having the people that you care about all there. And essentially, the wedding photographer is a bit of an alien. You know, they're coming in fresh from somewhere else. You don't know them. If you've not met them before the big day, that's even worse.
Would you encourage, if you've met the photographer at a wedding fair, you've had like the 30 seconds with them, and then you've gone away, you've had the quote and everything, but they make no effort to meet you, is it advisable for couples to actually say, I really would like to meet you? Because I'd say that's one of the biggest tips, isn't it? From what you've said already, one of the biggest bits of advice is meet them. So would you encourage couples to do that?
I think if I was to flip it round and say I was planning my own wedding and I had a photographer coming in, I photographed my own wedding. If I was going to be trusting someone to record the images of my wedding, I would want to look them in the eye first. I wouldn't want to be meeting them on
Who did shoot your wedding then?
Me.
Obviously.
No, well, not like selfies, maybe a couple, but my dad used to be a photographer, so he was doing most of it, and I did the group shots and stuff, and I just ran in. I do regret it because, you know, I didn't do as good of a job as I thought I could.
But also you didn't, well, you're not in the moment either, because you kind of had to detach yourself.
It was kind of mixing both worlds. So I was there getting married, but I was also half an eye was on my dad, like, oh, where are you with the camera, sort of thing. So that's a regret for me.
But would you say that's another bit of advice, is to not worry about where the photographer is? Because one of the questions I was going to ask you was what, I know there's a couple more in between this, but what can a couple expect on the day? I would say you've maybe hit that on the head. Don't worry about the photographer. You've met them.
Yeah, exactly.
They know what they're doing.
That's where part of it comes in. Yeah, you know that person, you've met that person, you trust that person. I always try and get an engagement shoot first, because then they get the experience of having photos taken, because some people, this is the first photos they've had formally taken, which is fine. But having an engagement shoot means that, right, we can get that awkwardness out of the way. You know, oh God, I feel horrible on camera. Oh, this man's looking at me constantly. It does feel weird at first. For any shoot, it feels weird for like the first 20, 30 minutes. That's why I like to have the engagement shoot. We sit down, we have a chat, we break down those barriers, and we take some photos, and we get some lovely, lovely photos.
I have seen that as a rising trend, engagement shots.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you think that's another thing that maybe the younger generation over the past sort of 5 or 6 years has introduced to the wedding industry?
I don't know, because it's quite a traditional route. You would generally have an engagement shoot, if not a whole session. You normally have like an announcement photo, wouldn't you? But turning it into a bigger sort of I think
thing,
the extension is more of a modern thing. Like, people do make an event of it, and my friend is up in the north of England, and he's just had his engagement shoot, and they're wonderful photos. And I know him personally, so I can see his personality in those photos, and that's the important bit, and that's why having that engagement shoot, you get that rapport with your photographer, so that when you get to the wedding, as you say, you're not worried. You're not thinking, oh God, someone's taking photos of me. You're there, you're just going, oh, Aaron's here, he's taking photos. It's fine. He's got it. And they've seen your work by then as well.
That's what I was about to say, because it might be that they've seen examples and it's not quite what they expected after the engagement shoot. I mean, it's not. I'd say that's another piece of advice, isn't it? Don't feel like you would offend the photographer if you actually turned around and said at the end of all of that, you know, we're not working, you know, actually we don't gel.
Absolutely.
It's not going to offend a photographer, is it?
Better to find out on the engagement shoot than halfway through a wedding, because that's much worse. Very hard to find a replacement photographer halfway through your day.
Well, when I was organising my friend's wedding, I know them, I've grown up with her, and she'd been with her future husband for so long. He was like an extension, you know, and I knew him just as well. And one of the things I felt when I said to her, this is who I advise, I went for those that I knew in the industry had similar personalities, because I've obviously met them through various different things, and it was quite a responsibility because she trusted me absolute to that point. And I said to her, you do need to go out and have an engagement shoot because at the end of the day, whilst I know him, I get on great with him, it might not work for you. They went out, they did the engagement shoot, fantastic. And she was a very nervous person in front of the camera. The husband-to-be, not so much, but I think that was just because he just felt comfortable. He didn't really mind, but she was so nervous, you know. And after the shoot, again, she said, no, he's brilliant, I love him, we'll have him. And he shot some fantastic photographs on the day. Yeah. And I actually did say to him, she's a bit bonkers, they're a bit fun, you know, they like to have fun. Yeah. Wait till you see the wedding. But he totally got that. And it showed in all the photographs he did for the engagement shoot. And after all of the things, she said to me, thank you so much for giving me 2 or 3 to choose from, but you knew in the back of your mind who it was that would work better with us.
I think that's the thing as well, is like, people forget that there needs to be a working relationship. Okay, it's your wedding and that's your day, but if you want someone to get the images that you want, you need to have that relationship. And some people are thinking, oh, it's just a photographer. Yeah. You know, just a photographer. I can wait till the week before. I can find the cheapest possible. Yeah. Well, Uncle Dave will do it. Yeah. It's fine. But people don't realise how much goes into it.
Would you say that's one of the most common mistakes that couples actually make? Because I mean, there's people who don't understand that actually, whilst the photographer is the professional, they do need directing. Because if you don't want particular photographs, then he will go out of his way, or she will go out of his way to produce what's the best thing for the day.
Yeah, but you need to direct know that sort of thing, exactly, and that's where those initial meetings and things, because you know someone might have something that they're not comfortable with, and if I don't know, it's too late. But if I know, like for example, if people don't want a photo or they want a particular photo, I need to know that, and that's where having that lead up to it really helps. But some people do treat it as, oh, photographer. I've had inquiries where it's just like, we only need you for the ceremony, or we only need you for group photos. That's all we want. And they don't come out and say it, but it strikes as cost saving again. But
actually, I was going to bring that up in a minute, but carry on.
But the other things that people say to me sometimes is, oh, my friend is a photographer. They'll be there. Everyone's going to have cameras. They'll be there. We'll have lots of photos. And the thing I always say to people then is, okay, yeah, you will have lots of photos, but A, they're going to be on Facebook before you've seen them.
Yep.
B, are you going to get them from them? My aunt took photos of my wedding. It took me 4 months to get them.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Are you going to get them in a usable format? Are they going to be processed properly? Are they going to be able to give you any advice on prints and frames and books and stuff like that? No. Your friend who's a photographer, are they going to your wedding expecting to take photos? I pretty much guarantee not. No, because that's work, and they're going to your wedding as a friend. They do not want to be working.
I mean, I had offered to film a friend's wedding, and then I said, well, I don't mind doing it, but actually I didn't. There was 4 other industry experts in the wedding party that all film. So we sort of, between us, there was cameras being passed around. I'm now editing the video.
That's another problem that we find these days.
But actually it's worked because we knew what we were doing. Yeah. And I think that's the key. It's one of those situations where if you've got people who do know what they're doing and they kind of have been already asked, it's not an issue. Yeah. But then you can't rely on them completely, can you?
If they're happy to do it, then great. And if you've talked to them about it before, and they know what you're expecting, and you know what their point of it is, then fine. That's absolutely fine. I've been asked to photograph and video friends' weddings, and I will happily do it. But I will always say to them, you either get me as a friend or you get me as a professional. Yep. You cannot have both.
No. Or I'm the professional between this time and this time, but after that I'm your wedding guest.
If I'm a professional, I'm on point all day. Yeah. There is no point when I stop. So I will be scoping out angles. I will be roving around. I will not be sitting watching you. I will be sitting or standing looking through a lens at you, and I will not be in the moment. Later on, when I'm going through the photos, I will enjoy your wedding.
Yes. And that's the other thing.
At that point, it won't be me. It'll be wedding photographer Aaron.
Because what you were saying earlier about the whole I would only like these types of photographs. I don't necessarily think it is cost cutting. I think some people genuinely don't want the whole thing.
Absolutely.
And again, another friend who got married had that experience when she was looking for a photographer. She found one person in particular who she went with in the end, but everyone else was too much of a hard sell. They said, "Oh no, we refuse to do a wedding without the getting ready photographs, without the this. We simply don't offer that." And I thought with her, I thought, do you know, actually, you don't know her. She didn't want that. She genuinely didn't want it. There was no selling her on that. She just wanted the traditional photographs at the church, with the traditional partnering up, you know, big guest shots and stuff. Didn't want anything fancy, didn't want the nighttime captured. First dance was being videoed by a family member anyway, and we all had cameras at the time. And actually, weirdly enough, some of the best photographs that were taken of her on her wedding day were shot by my friend. And just as a guest, they weren't asked to do anything, because the photographer, I think, took the hump. And it came across slightly in what she was given later,
really
that they actually couldn't be bothered at some point.
It's a real shame.
And it's sort of like, maybe, I think when you're, obviously I know what you're saying about how you would like to maybe do a little bit more, and not necessarily cost cutting, but she didn't want the whole attention on her while she was getting ready, because she had the children,
that's fair enough,
you know, and all of that. But she felt quite offended when a lot of them were saying, no, I won't do this.
Well, but
again, if you met the photographer,
yeah,
you know, if you met the photographer, they would know that actually
that's it. That's the point. Is that we get inquiries where it's just like, right, we only need this. That's all we want. Quote me for that. And that's the point where they're just looking for the price, and that's you know, quote farming. Absolutely, I want to be working with people to say, right, this is your day. What do you expect from me? And that's what people need to think about. Is that, what do you want from a photographer? You can't just say, "Oh, come and take some photos." Okay, you need a bit more than that. You know, that's why, you know, if people don't want photos of them getting ready, it's fine. To be honest, I'm not a huge fan of preparation shots.
I was about to say, with being a man in the industry, how do you sort of, because again, but you know what I mean, there's a lot of, I would say photography nowadays is very much mixed on how many men and women are actually in the profession. Yeah. Do you not, I mean, how do you sort of do that type of thing? Because most women will go, I do not want some guy standing in my hotel room or wherever I'm getting ready while I've got my friends fussing around, sticking my boots in my dress and stuff. Yeah. How do you actually do, I mean...
Well, it's about breaking down those barriers, because, if I'm some random creepy dude turning up on the morning, "Hello, I'm your photographer," then no, it's going to be the awkwardest thing ever. So if that's what people want, then we need to have spoken beforehand. Because I'm coming in, I'm here to take some photos of you getting dressed. It's horrible. It's really horrible. So, you know, there are people who really want that, and that's fine. You know, I can do that.
Some of the shots I've seen in various different portfolios are absolutely stunning.
But at the same time, I don't think people should think that they have to do that. And when you're saying about photographers having, right, now this is the package, you get this, and that's it. I don't think that's the way it should be. It should be, right, what do you want? I can do that. I can do that. I can do that. Do you want this? Have you thought about this? You know. You don't want that? Not a problem, we won't do that. You know, that's what it needs to be. It needs to be organic, because there's no two weddings the same.
No.
You need to be reacting. In the 8 or 10 weddings that I've done, I cannot say this is the same photo. Okay, maybe a group photo is very similar, but no, because you're going to have those people in there.
I was about to say, people, when they pick a photographer, do you think they've already got ideas in their head? I mean, everybody nowadays can go on social media, pick up magazines. I mean, Pinterest, which is where we all are. Pinterest is great for planning weddings and stuff. Do you get people come to you with ideas for photographs in their head?
Yes.
And you take one look at the couple and go, actually, do you know what? I don't think that's ever going to work. No, not being funny, because people need to know this, because they will come to you with ideas.
You've got to have the honesty side of it. But I hope that people come to me with ideas, because, like I say, I don't want someone to come in to me and say, right, you're a wedding photographer, we need our wedding photoed, done, here's the money. That's no good. You need to tell me what you're expecting from your photos, and I will do my absolute best to get it for you.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say, right, I can definitely do that, because, you know, no one knows. No one can predict the future, sit over a crystal ball. But if people say to me, right, we really like this stage shot, we really like this shot where it's lit from behind, we really like this where there's all people playing and stuff like that, great. I'm not going to copy it. I'm not going to copy it pixel
well,
for pixel.
no, because that's the thing. People can't have an absolute replica.
No, absolutely. We're going to do it. We're going to do what we can do. Well, for you, you're going to put your spin on it. There's no one else that's you. We will do that. So you want me to put a flash behind you and light you from behind? Absolutely fine. Let's get that done. But we will do what we can do, and I want to know what you expect, and I will be aiming for that, but I will also give you so much that you're not expecting.
Because I think with a game with that type of shoot, have you considered offering another day for that, where the dress can come out, the suit can come out?
Oh, absolutely.
When the stress of the day is no longer there, and you can go back to the venue with the bride and groom and take those far more stage shots. Because I think when you've got, I mean, some of the photographs nowadays online are exquisite, and they're playing around with light, like you said. Some people have gone for more abstract, some people have gone for more quirky. There's a lot more quirky stuff coming out. But when it's actually on the day, I think, do you find that couples make that mistake and think they can get all of that in one day? And actually, from a professional's point of view, you need to say to them, yes, it would be great, yes, I can do that, like you just said, it's not going to be identical, but actually we might have to do this on a separate day, because while you're in the moment and, you know, the receiving line maybe takes a little bit longer than expected, or so-and-so's not very well, there's so many things that can happen on the day.
You have to be organic with it, and we always take time. So normally the place where I put the stage photos is we'll have the ceremony, then we'll get the groups, and then we'll say, okay, well, let's go and have a few minutes and we'll do some stage photos. It tends to be that the ones that I've done in that way have been very informal. There's nothing planned. It's just, right, let's go for a walk, let's see what we can find, let's make some moments, okay? And I will be from afar, I will be close up, and, you know, we'll get those moments. I haven't taken time to go through and stage something, like proper lighting and fireworks or whatever. I saw a great shoot which was, they'd had a Back to the Future themed wedding, and they'd got a DeLorean and they'd got smoke going, and they'd stood there in the like the movie poster, and it was phenomenal. But I looked at it and thought, bloody hell, that would have taken ages. If
this is what I'm saying,
and the bride and groom have gone off somewhere. Where have they gone? What are we hanging around for? That's not the time for it. It turns out that shoot had been done a few days before.
Yeah,
so
I was about to say,
got that planned.
done it fine.
But that's the thing, if you want to take the time to do it, we'll do it. But we'll say, let's be realistic, on your day, you want to be having your day. If you want to do it a couple of days later, that's fine, we'll do it a couple of days later, we'll do it before, whatever.
What's it like where, I mean, you obviously have your networking groups and stuff. Have you been to a wedding where all of a sudden they've thrown a videographer into the mix?
Yes.
And you're kind of like,
It was an interesting one, because I did a wedding in London, which was actually someone I went to school with, got in touch, which was nice to hear from him anyway. But I went down to London for their wedding, and it was this purpose-built wedding venue, and it was lovely, and it was kind of an Asian fusion type wedding. So it was colour everywhere. It was wonderful. But I kind of, obviously I knew him already, so we didn't need to meet up in advance. We just caught up on the day, and was up to speed back then. We got to the venue, and I was waiting for the car to arrive because they were in a lovely BMW, and I was in the car in front. I was like, oh, I'm going to get some lovely photos of that. That's going to be good. And then we pulled up, and I got out, and I was ready. I was kind of poised, ready to go. And then this videographer just went screaming across me, not screaming, but like came right across me. I was like, ooh, okay, I wasn't aware that he was here. So, you know, that was a challenge.
Yeah.
Until I went over and said, hello, I'm Aaron, I'm the photographer. And he went, hello, I'm James, I'm the videographer. And he introduced me to his partner, and it's fine. We're all professionals.
Yeah, absolutely.
It would have been nice to know.
It would have been nice.
But we understand that we're going to be working together. The worst thing that I could have done would be to ignore them, and for us to not have had that conversation, because A, I would have been getting in their shots, B, they would have been getting in mine.
We've been there.
And absolutely. But it was great, and actually it was lovely. They'd set aside a table for the professionals at the event, which is very rare, but they'd set us a table, so we were getting this buffet, And they said, oh, Aaron, you can grab a seat. No, I'm going to take photos. No, we don't want photos while we're eating. Have a seat, have some food. My goodness, it was lovely.
But you see, that's the thing. I think, again, if you are aware of the fact that that person's going to be giving you everything you want to capture that day, they need a break for 5 minutes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, I would say that's one of the biggest bits of advice is give us a break. Because there is a point when we all need to sit down.
I'm going to be on my feet for 8 or 9 hours for the day, and you know they're not small. No. I will be getting tired, but at the same time, it's not gonna stop me.
No,
I will happily stand and take 1,500 photos for you and go through them all. You know, because that's me up until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, going through them and processing them, and it does take a few days.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm happy to do that, and that's why. I mean, I don't ever expect anything, but every single wedding I've been to, I've always been very humbled by the response of, right, come on, have a break. Have a drink. Are you okay? Have you got everything you need? Have some food. And that's what people forget sometimes, is that we're there and we're working.
I think that's a really good note to end it on, because there's a few more questions that I think we need to ask, but maybe another day come back on them. There's a few more things. We might get another person to come and join us on the sofa and sort of have a bigger discussion. I think that could work quite well. But thank you very much, Aaron, for taking some time out to give some hints and tips.
Pleasure.
And obviously you can go and check out our full blog. It's on our website. The details appear along the bottom of the video, so don't worry. There's also our Pinterest accounts, and Aaron has a profile page on our business profile section, so you can go and take a good look at his examples. And I think I've done quite well with what I've picked out, and the wedding that he was just talking about, the Asian fusion one, there's some brilliant examples of those two up on there as well. But thank you very much for watching, and see you all another time. Thank you.